Hello, I'm Justin. This is Talk Junkie. Today's kind of a special episode because today's going to be more of an interactive episode. When I first started doing this, it was in response to not being able to physically be in the same place with other people to do podcasts. I know technology is advanced. It's easy to do. You can get on here, you can have guests, and I'm looking at doing that with a different show I'm wanting to do. I'd done a trial run. It didn't go over so well. A lot of different things. Issues with internet connectivity and things of that nature. But I definitely do want to do a different show with guests. This show has become what this show is, and this show is just kind of me. And so I'm going to keep it. I enjoy it, but I have the desire to do two. I was doing another show for a while just as a guest called Television Junkie that I really liked doing, and it was kind of filling that void, and it's just not there anymore. So, but there are, those two guys kind of went and done some other stuff you definitely need to check out. There's a show called Randomness Captured Alive that's available on iTunes, and Relics of the Past, which is available on iTunes. And hopefully myself, I will have another show available on iTunes very soon, as soon as I can figure out the whole guest thing, because it's going to involve guests. But even though this is just me on this show, what's kind of surprised me and what wasn't really intended, one is you don't know if people will listen. When you do something like this, you have no idea. Especially considering I didn't really promote it when it first started because I wasn't on social media. I was on social media for a while, really seeing no spike. I'm completely off social media now, and I don't see any change in numbers up or down. So word of mouth is what's going to kind of get it found, that and people just accidentally discovering it. And I don't have a huge number of listeners right now, but I have enough that make it fun, make it interesting. If that number grows, it grows. But as long as I can stay where I'm at, I'm pretty excited about that. And it varies download to download each episode, where you're at. But when you get 600 downloads, the first time I seen, that all of my episodes combined had got to 600, I was like, wow, that's amazing. So there's been milestones along the way that have got me there. Now I've surpassed that, and now I don't even look at the number of downloads because it grows daily, and some days it grows by 8, some days it grows by 40, whatever. Some weeks will be a 200 download week, some weeks will be a 50 download week. Whatever it is, the numbers are staying at a point to where it's encouraging enough to do it. We are getting close to the 100th episode. Now, there's a technicality there, because if you go by the way that they count 100th episode on Spreakers, that's every episode I've released. So from the very first episode, the other Four Horsemen episode, every mini cast, everything, if each one of those are numbered individually, I think we're probably in the 80s by this podcast, somewhere around there, I'm not sure. So when I get to the 100th episode, I'm going to do a special 100th episode podcast. But the whole purpose in this podcast, and it'll be fairly short, hopefully. Every time I say that, they seem to be long. People have been really interactive, especially with the mailbag ones. And I thought that was something that was going to come and go, but it's done really good. Now, before I go any further, let me give you the best way to contact. And there's somebody that's finally got a hold of me. It's been trying to get a hold of me forever because they were spelling this wrong. It's not Arthur, like the name Arthur. It's author, like someone who writes a book. Author J. Perk. Author J. Perk at gmail.com. That's the best way. That's what I look at first. That's who I'm going to get. There's no social media for the page. This thing automatically tells Twitter, I think, when an episode is Nobody's checking Twitter. There's no apps on my phone for any type of social media. I'm not on social media. I'm not checking social media. Messengers and text messages is it. So if you're going to get a hold of me, you either do go the route of the email, authorjperk@gmail.com, which I'm getting ready to set up one just for the podcast. That's going to be the easiest way to do it. Or you comment on the YouTube page. I've contacted YouTube for the last time. I'm going to contact YouTube. My advice would be email me the comments. My advice would be, and my preference would be, if you want to get on and subscribe to YouTube, knock yourself out. I'm fine with that. Whatever you want to do. My preference would be that you subscribe on iTunes. That would be my preference. And if you subscribe on iTunes, like and leave a review. The reason I say that is, if you subscribe on YouTube, it's probably not going to show a change in my subscribers. If you comment on YouTube, I'm probably not going to see the comment. If you view, I'm probably not going to know that you viewed it. We tried it with my wife's. I tried it with my wife's phone. I watched 4 of my videos on YouTube that had no views. Went back a day later, no views. 2 days later, no views. It never logged those views. It's not logging all the comments. A lot of the comments are just spam. So go the iTunes route and go the email route. Now, having said that, the purpose in this episode is kind of like this is what we're going to talk about coming up, and do you want to be involved with that conversation? And a way to be involved with that conversation is to message me some way, shape, or form. If you know me personally, message me personally. If you don't, email me. If you've ever read A Brave New World, that in some way is going to be associated with an upcoming episode. I've not worked out exactly how I want to do that. I may incorporate other things into it, but it definitely is going to be part of an upcoming episode. So if you have questions, comments, anything involving Brave New World, send them to me. If you've never read Brave New World, read it. It's a good book. Read it. I love the conspiracy theory stuff. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm to the point right now, I want a podcast purely dedicated to the conspiracy theory stuff. And it's been fun. And some of my favorite mail, which I'm going to read in the next mailbag, it's come from the conspiracy theory stuff. I love conspiracy theory stuff. This, however, is not actually a conspiracy theory. I'm going to do a podcast on the MK Ultra program and how mind control has shifted from the government trying to use LSD and being caught for it. It's been in the court system. They have admitted it. They used LSD on people to try to use mind control, all the way up to, social media and how possibly that's working. And what I'm going to tie in with that, and it may make this a two-parter, I'm not sure, is everything from the Red Scare and the blackballing of supposed communist directors and actors in Hollywood, all the way up to the suggestion that the Russians are, I guess, what was the former Soviet Union and now Russia, is tampering with Facebook posts and things of that nature, and kind of how that parallels two different misinformation and mind control operations at once, with the U.S. using communism as the great enemy that I do believe it is an enemy, but I don't believe it was always there, that they're kind of using it, and vice versa, Russia kind of using their influence on us. But that'll be a small part of that podcast. So if you have any questions, thoughts, feelings on that, get that in. Now, I mentioned that I was going to do another mailbag, because I've got some doozies, especially based on the conspiracy. And if you're watching on YouTube, and that's the only place you're watching, do not let me discourage you from watching or listening, whether it's showing reviews or not, because the two best letters for the conspiracy theory ones I got, or best things, were emails from people who watch on YouTube. And they have a conspiracy. There's a conspiracy theory why I don't get my YouTube things, but that's beside the point as well. That will be in the mailbag thing. So I'm really looking forward to the next mailbag one. And if you want to participate in that, please, author. It's author, like someone who writes a book. I do not have the clearest of speech. I understand that. Author, jperk@gmail.com. Definitely send me that. Send me any questions, comments, anything on that. I've got some friends that I know are readers, and I'm going to do a podcast about books that I can't live without, things that I will repetitively read or have had a huge impact on me, kind of like I do with movies. My wife has always insisted that I'm autistic, and I guess this would be a kind of a reflection of that. I watch the same movies over and over. I listen to the same music over and over. And I read the same books over and over. And I will bring new things into that fold, but once they get to that level of, that certain ones are, they become a mainstay. But I'm going to do a podcast over books I love and books that have really influenced me and books that I can't live without. So get on that and send me in your books. Send me in the stuff that you're interested in. And again, these are coming up. It may be, some of them may be based more on how much interaction I get mail-wise to when I do them. The mailbag one will be the next closest one. I'm really, really wanting to do the book one fairly soon, but I'm going to give people time to get them. I've got other topics that are coming up that the MK Ultra will probably be quicker than the book one, just based on, the MK Ultra takes some research, and I've got some of that research done. I've got research done for probably 10 different topics, and some of those have been done for a really long time, because the ones that are research topics aren't always as fun, or they're not as free, kind of. So I've really got to be in the mood for that subject to get it there. One that has been on the table for a long time is our affinity for violence, from, the gladiators of Rome to MMA fighters today. That's one that, sometimes it's hard to find your voice on something, and sometimes it's hard to kind of find the flow for something, and it's something that I've attempted to kind of do, and that's one of the things about doing this by yourself, is you've got to find that flow for every moment of the conversation, and that can be hard. Even the ones that are researched are not planned out. They're not, organized or put into a timeline or even thought out ahead of time. I take the research and just speak openly and just at will. I don't sit down and try to plan out the episode. So some episodes are a little harder to find a rhythm for. I don't want to make this one really long or extremely boring for you. Like, I wanted to touch on those things. So if in any way you want to be a participant or have, make a contribution to the show in those areas, send it in. Send it in. Let's get it. Let's look at it. Let's talk about it. And if there's anything, and look, I do get a lot, and I have some of you I have ended up using your ideas for episodes, or they've coincided with ideas of mine. If you have ideas and you want your name mentioned with them, send it, and I'll mention your name with the ideal if I end up doing the podcast with it. If I don't mention it, maybe it's because I forgot, maybe it's because I already recorded it, maybe it's, whatever, but send it in. Let's, and write something with it. Write something in the email with it that, I can go back and go, oh yeah, I remember when so-and-so wrote this, don't just put, hey, do it. Because I had a really good suggestion for someone when this first started out to do something involving a local crime. I'm not really educated on the crime, and I have a personal relationship with someone who is involved with it, in a very good friendship, that they weren't involved in the crime, but it impacts them. And it's not something that I felt I could do a fair outlook on, and I was, I don't know how it would impact their life. I think if a stranger did it, or somebody, not as close to them, it may be different. Either way, I couldn't do it, but it was a really good suggestion, and I really appreciated the suggestion. That person has always brought really good things in their recommendations, in their critiques and stuff. And that's another thing. If there's something about it that you think is, lackluster, tell me. I'm probably still going to be lackluster, but at least I'll know. But thanks everybody for listening. It is truly humbling to know that people actually enjoy and are entertained by what you do. It's fun to do, but it's more fun when people enjoy it. Thank you very much. Please contact me for these upcoming shows, and let me try to get some people involved and stuff. And I mentioned Brave New World. If for some reason you don't have a copy of Brave New World available to you, I have the solution. You can get online on Facebook. You can get in contact with the page for Red, R-E-A-D, Red Spotted Newt in Hazard, Kentucky. You can order the book, and she can get it for you. They're getting ready to go, I believe, I don't know, I shouldn't say that. I think they're getting ready to change how they do their online ordering now. There's maybe going to be some shifts there. So, they have a wonderful, beautiful, awesome, the coolest little brick and mortar store you've ever seen, but the pandemic has that shut down. So they are on Facebook, and I think they're going to make some moves digitally coming up. But either way, the Facebook option works. Message them. Tell them Talk Junkie sent you. Order the book and get it in. No, I don't get any money for that. The proprietor knows too much dirt on me. I have to. So, but in all honesty, to have a store like that is neat for us in this area, and I'm truly happy to see it doing well. But check out Brave New World. Don't suck. Don't die. Be good to other people. And I've been skimping. I guess we need a quote. This is one of my favorites, and you'll probably hear it repeated because of that. Maynard James Keenan. If you're not familiar with him, he is the singer of Tool, singer of Pussifer, singer of A Perfect Circle, winemaker, all-around dandy human being. Beliefs are dangerous. Beliefs allow the mind to stop functioning. A non-functioning mind is clinically dead. Believe in nothing. Don't suck, don't die, be good to people. I don't know.